Hi.
This is Amanda, and I'm Crystal, also known as Wolfwoman19. We are going to AnimeCTX right now, and oh boy is it hot.
I know, oh my god.
And it's Texas. She's Ladybug, and I'm obviously Cat Noir. And this is our first costume that we made, right? Or
Yeah.
it's mine anyway.
Well, it's my first costume I made too.
Okay, so if y'all are going to AnimeCTX, we'll see you there. See you in a bit.
I got it. You cannot touch anything in these gloves. Oh, it's recording.
Hey guys, we are at AnimeCTX, as you can see. Oh, it is awesome, and we have our friend here. So AJ,
Hey.
you have fun yet?
Oh yeah.
He had a big shock having me dressed up as this, and he was just laughing.
Yeah, I can't stop. You look great.
Thank you. First time making a costume, so it was kind of like, you know, a little challenging at times, but, you know, got the hang of it. And we are going to walk around a little bit at the artist alley and stuff, because that's going to be fun. And so I will talk to you guys later. Awesome.
Getting out of the pond there.
What?
My God, there's a photo over there. Oh my god.
Really good.
Thank you. That is so cool.
Did you feel like a real Saiyan?
Yeah.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
That's awesome.
In my ear.
Hey guys, so we're taking a break, waiting for opening ceremonies, and there it goes again. Okay.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
And sorry,
Like I said, I should play
they're playing Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Gareth, I like the challenge.
And we're gonna kill some time before opening ceremonies, and we will do more videos then.
For start.
For start, Tanya.
So get real close, hold R2 and square.
Hold R2 and square.
Let's get real
Get
close.
close to me first. Get close to me. R2
Now
and
hold
square.
it.
Yep.
Hold it.
No.
That's
We are in line getting ready to go into opening ceremony, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then right afterward, we're going to go to guest Q&A
Yeah.
and autographs.
Autographs.
So that's going to be cool. Going to try and get a autograph from Chris Patton and Morgan Berry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there will be more videos soon.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce first Morgan Berry.
Hello, my name is Morgan Berry. I'm happy to be here. My favorite color is blue, actually. Specifically royal blue. Woo! So, hey. Some roles I've done. I play 13 in My Hero Academia. I play Nash in Black Clover. Madame Charlie in One Piece. Silver Sable in Marvel Avengers Academy. Yes. A few skins in Smite. And yeah, and I'm also a YouTuber. I do song covers of anime songs, so if you guys are into that, check it out. Yeah, let's
Skins in Smite. That sounds creepy and Halloween. There it is. Next up, we have Emily Neves. Come on up.
Guys, I'm Emily Neves. My favorite color is aquamarine. And I think my favorite dinosaur is a brontosaurus because they're really cute. So I've been in a lot of stuff. And I'm really excited because tomorrow night, Pop Team Epic is playing on Toonami, and I am the scriptwriter. Umaru and Himoto Umaru-chan and various other things. So I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend. So thank you.
I like that you call Brontosaurus cute. They're like giant. It just goes to show you, no matter how tall you are, you can still be cute. Chris Patton, come on up.
Hey, my favorite color is silver taupe. I made that up. I don't know what color that is. And my favorite dinosaur is, I would love to see a really sassy gay velociraptor. As the next winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, season 11, Aquaria. So I've done lots of voices for things. Hey, I'll be doing panels and stuff. But speaking of Umaru-chan, a fun fact, amongst all the sort of sexually ambiguous emo teenagers that I voice, I also, I mean, let's be real, I also I'm literally credited in that show as her stunt belch. So, classy. All right, have a good time.
Never in my life have I wanted another job.
Well, I could do it.
Speaking of belch, I hope I don't mess up this last name because we talked about it. Sarah Wideneff. Come on up. Did I mess up? Oh, I got it right. Okay, come on up.
It's sweet enough, but it doesn't really matter, honestly.
See it all the time. I've never had to say it.
And here we are. My favorite color is turquoise. Anything in green and blue is nice. My favorite dinosaur is I don't really remember what their names are, but they're like the little frill-necked lizards. They're so weird.
Dilophosaurus?
I love it. Yeah. Oh God, I love those. Voices I do are Toru from Dragon Maid. Zeno from Dragon Ball. What's her name? Girl from Keijo. Goodness, I can't remember my people. I did stuff. Yeah, Keijo, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I think there's 8. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Come meet us all.
that are going to come up here, introduce themselves, and tell you their favorite color and dinosaur.
What's up, y'all? Josh Martin, aka Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z.
Hi guys, my name's Chris Baker. You might know me as Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z. Me and my boy Boo here will be out there amongst some of the cosplayers and in the dealer's room there signing autographs and whatnot this weekend. So come by and say hello. We'll be hanging out with our friend Boba Joe in the Saiyan Pod. When Vegeta's Saiyan Pod come in, he pushes buttons and makes noises. It is the coolest thing ever. My favorite color is no. And my favorite dinosaur is Barney.
My favorite color is pink. And my favorite dinosaur is Barney too. I'm partial.
Up her, and like she was like under attack, and she got scared, and like she goes like, ah. Like that. So that was funny. But yeah, it's really not. I love classroom video, by the way. Such a cool show, right?
What's your favorite or most memorable quote that you got to do?
Not the quotes, not the quotes. It's gonna be hard because a lot of the roles that we voiced for, minus time of those, I guess it's been like maybe a year since we recorded it, you know, until it gets out to the public. So.
Well, yeah, except like, just
Have any of you watch Full Metal Panic?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm recording season 4 right now, and finally, it was 2 weeks ago. We were like 6 episodes into doing the dub, and I hadn't said the signature line yet, and I was getting antsy, and finally, and people tweeted about it, he said the thing! Like, we recorded the first 3 seasons 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and he had this tagline, and 2 weeks ago I was in the booth, and I was and I saw the next cue, and I was like, oh, and it went beep, 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 it's not a problem. And I was like, ah, you have to say it. I've been waiting. It was like waiting to exhale with you. That's one of my big signature lines.
I wrote and said a line for Caprio not too long ago. Something happens and she, Aoi, the main character, she walks off camera. I don't know. This is going really well. She says, this calls for some binge eating. And then she goes and eats a bunch of food. So that was fun. That's all I can remember. Other than the line I can't say.
yeah, those are the most iconic.
Yep, totally.
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
You got something? Because,
That may be my next cosplay.
okay, well, I already said the line, but I won't let anyone touch that line from Riddle Story of Bella. That's cheating. I just think it's hot. So, I'd say that's iconic to me. Background. Okay. I can't. Quotes are hard. And most of the ones that I have are not PG-13 too. They're ridiculous.
We're basically foul-mouthed people.
That's okay.
Most of us are.
Well, that's one of my favorite
Not really. If you look
quotes that I
behind,
did
there's
kind of improv to is from Film Example. There's a scene, I think it's the last episode, and she's screaming, she's like, stop running, I'm gonna puke! And then he's like, wait, how can you say that at a time like this? And you hear it in the background, it's like, because I'm gonna puke! That wasn't written. And that always gets me. Next question.
Is there any one specific series that y'all are in that you would want to see continue, like they haven't done in a while?
Yeah, Air Gear. That's my main one.
Oh, yes.
I wish Air Gear would continue, but that's it. Just Air Gear. Yes.
L5. That was a show I was in, and I wish that they would have another season because it's the same maker of Reborn. If you guys are into Hitman Reborn, that one does not have a dub yet, but L5 did, and I was the lead in it, and I hoping that they get another season, but I kind of doubt that they will. It's okay, it happens. I would have liked Dark Anime, but there's one that I wasn't in. It was Devil is a Part-Timer.
Oh my God.
Yes! You're bad too? Yeah, let's all get together. That was upsetting. I was like, are you kidding
Bring
me?
out the cat's doom.
I think it would be cool if Angel Beats got another.
Yes.
Yes.
God.
Here's here.
Okay. Out of all the characters y'all have voiced, who would you cosplay?
Do you have Maria Vianney from Future Diary. She has an eye patch and
Nice.
I know I talk about it a lot, but Tokaku from Middle Story of Devil, she's hot. But also another role that I can't talk about.
Oh.
Made from the comedic nothing. Yes, I can't. Seriously? Indeed. I'll keep you waiting on that one.
These lanyards are sponsored by Funimation. They put the fun in animation.
Next question.
He's back.
Do you guys have any like pre-vocal warm-ups that you do before you enter the booth in order to get your voices into the right
Absolutely not. I do tongue twisters.
I mainly sing on the way to sessions.
Yes.
If I have to sing in a session, I'll just do like trills, like
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
and then go like start high or low. And, yeah. I just walk in with coffee and water. I'm bad.
Red Bull and Vicodin and hit go.
It must be valid.
No wonder you sound so subdued.
Yes. Balance. It's all about balance. Always.
Man, I saw you before. Now we get a hug. Is that possible? Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Lesbian assassin. So basically, she's sent to kill this girl, but she ends up really liking her, so she decides to protect her from the other assassins instead. Instead of killing her, she's like, I'm a protector. Oh, girl, it's spicy. Oh, it's subtle. It's subtle, but it's not good enough for you to be in love. You know?
About the lighting. Did you watch anything?
It's really good for you. Oh, thank you. Do you want me to write it somewhere? Like, I don't know, somewhere down. Do you want me to do it down here? I'm not happy yet. You know what I forgot? I only warn you. These cards, I have these. I have these, and I can write it on the back. Okay, yeah. I can also do it.
I recently did get Funimation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've had experience with that before. I'd hate for you to like get home and it's like most of it's like on. Yes. Here you go. So much. Thank you. Hey girl, how's it going?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, you look different with your cut.
Okay.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. Yes.
What's your
I can
favorite?
totally do that. Yes. I've actually auditioned.
I went to see Hamilton live in person.
Right, of course.
When was that?
Really?
Oh, okay, dude. Man, they're open auditions are pretty rare. They stopped doing it for a while.
Well, it was thanks to Sunny.
I've never seen it.
Oh, did you take his class?
I really like
Nice. Very nice.
that beautiful song about the moon or whatever.
That's good. That's always the first step. Another one I would recommend is
So how did you like
Rager's class. Chris Rager. If you find him on Facebook,
I have.
dude, it's definitely that's the one I would recommend the most. Actually, getting your when it comes to getting your foot in the door to voice.
You want to hear something crazy? When I was 10 years old, I was in
with Funimation and
theater
Overtron
with Renee
Studios.
Goldberg.
That's the class.
What?
Yeah, like we did silly children's theater together.
Yes, of course.
She like went on to like where was she and then she ended up.
Yes,
And, like,
so
when
nice
she
to be
went
able to
live
hug
in
you
2010,
in
like,
person.
she was meeting me like,
Thank you.
I did theater with you when I was a little
you.
boy. And now and then she did Hamilton, so I'm like, so her career is like, but yeah.
I do want to ask though, what theaters were you in Houston? Because I'm actually from Houston. I was born in
I mean, I pretty much every.
I do have a quick question for you.
Actually, every theater but Tux. But like I performed with.
Because you voiced some actresses in Smite, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there any of them that like really stood out for you?
love talking to you though. It's amazing.
My
Another
favorite
theater geek out there.
Oh God, and she is too.
Amaterasu, the
Yeah.
Smack World Championship skin.
Allie, and then
It was the most fun for me,
Mhm.
and
Hi.
she was a limited
How are you
edition
doing?
skin, I'm pretty sure. But then after that, I voiced for Midnight Club Wheelish.
Yes.
Oh, right.
And that one was a community
Hi,
skin.
yes.
Yes. That was really cool that they did that.
And so that was, but I basically got to use the same voice for both. But yeah, the difference between them is pretty interesting to me. One was limited edition, but I still got
Wait, how old are you?
that's my favorite skin, and I'm like,
Right.
wow.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't expect a lot of people to
Cool.
know about it.
It's really great.
Edition, you know?
Yeah.
But then in Midnight Club,
Okay.
a lot of people know about that one.
Absolutely. Thanks.
But they,
in Pflugerville or in
no, in English.
Wait, how do you spell your name?
And no joke, they kind of do the CES.
It's COYTAL. Cool.
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
Cool.
It was epic, but it was
Perfect.
crazy.
It's
I was,
crazy.
I was a freshman in high school when it happened. I
That's
was like,
insane. Like, who had that idea? I don't know. Like,
I don't know,
I'm
honestly.
gonna sign right on my bio.
oh crap.
How long did you live in Houston though for?
So I was born.
Oh, Blake's character?
Yeah.
My brother?
you go.
My twin?
My dad.
I can't remember his name.
Hello, my hero. Yes.
Yeah, I feel really bad that I can't remember his name.
I love it.
Back when I was.
The hero.
This is definitely something only he would say
I
though.
love that they put that.
No, frick, I can't remember.
But what about under the helmet? If I get the chance to show him without the suit, then I will. If not, I am. They say 1990.
Yes. I hope there's a third season. There you go. You are so welcome.
Actually, maybe I'm going for a bachelor's in film and production.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I'm with you.
I'm
Yeah.
going for that. I'm technically a sophomore in ACC.
Wow.
But my next year is now going to be a Texas State.
Fantastic. I loved it there. I was there like 2000 to 2003, and then I left and I went back in 2012. And I just
You know what I'm doing.
yeah. What the fuck was that? Oh, okay. Right. Oh, great.
I kind of want, what do I want? I'm not going to be able to get it, but I want a vegan grilled cheese.
The art, the cheese.
Am I signing anything for you? Yes, this? Cool. Okay.
Hi. Hello. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
Yes, likewise. Absolutely. Too. I'm so glad I could get one. Of course.
Actually, can I get one from you?
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hi. We just got back from the con, AnimeCTX. First day was awesome.
We're tired. It was awesome since we got to take pictures of millions of different kids, but we're tired and we're hungry and we're ready to get out of these damn suits.
So, yeah, we're ready to rip these suits off.
Yeah.
It was hot. My wig's starting to bother me just a little bit.
My wig's starting to bother me too. It's starting to hurt my ears a little bit, and these
And-
clip-ons.
Yeah, the clip-ons.
Clip-ons are starting to hurt too. So
Yeah. So today, first day was fantastic. We got to meet a lot of cool people, which is great. And yeah, so Friday, day one of AnimeCTX, success!
Yep.
So happy. And stay tuned for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
We're running a little late this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm doing Urza. She's Lucy from Fairy Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And we're trying to make it to the panel that's in like 4 minutes and we're nowhere near it.
Crap.
Trying to make it to Morgan Berry's AMA. I think I said that right.
Yeah, I get it too.
Okay. But yeah, and there will be more videos soon.
And we were able to use our fingers today, so
I
we're
know.
recording a lot more today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll catch you later.
It's all good. They have business cards. Yay. Take one. I have a lot. I'm trying to get rid of them. Because like I bought one box and they gave me another one for free, and I'm like, I don't need this many business cards. What do I do with all these? What? So take them down, pass them down. I have too many. I don't need all of these. But anyways, yeah, feel free to come up after and take a look at these if you want. Let's see. It is 10:44. I have till, I'm looking at the schedule. 10:45. That's what it says on here.
What? No, I thought it was an hour.
Yeah, I knew people would think that because y'all are looking at this schedule, right?
Yeah.
They changed it.
What?
What?
Yeah.
No.
See, this is why you don't do last minute changes. Like, sorry, I'm just trying to take a little. The Thursday before the kind. Don't do a schedule change. I love y'all. I love you, but I'm staying until the next person comes in. Because I know some of you guys came in at 10:30 thinking it was from 10:30 to 11:30, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
When did it actually start?
10.
Oh.
That's what my schedule said. My schedule, not what you guys said.
Like, not a half an hour.
So I'm gonna stay until someone kicks me out. Okay.
Okay.
Because I know some of you guys
Rebel.
basically just got here.
I'm
basically
just gonna stay here, like camp out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna camp out here. I got tent and everything.
Rebel.
But yeah, I have prints and stuff, and then I have an autograph session next door. Let's see later. We go 2:30. Now the rest of the schedule is the same for me. What you see on here is what you get, except for this panel. This panel was the only change that they made. So, and there was another con I went to that did that too. I had a Voltron panel, and they changed the day that it was on. And so they told me, oh, your Voltron panel is going to be on Sunday. I was like, okay, but the pamphlet said like Friday. So everyone like showed up on Friday. And I was like, no one showed up on Sunday. So, because no one knew about it. Like, that happens, and it's okay. But, yeah.
I think it might be okay if we bleed over because it's just Chris next, so.
Oh, it's just Chris. I love him. Chris, okay, cool. I love him. He'll understand. Yeah.
Does everyone else know about the change?
I don't know. Who knows? Apparently they made an announcement about it, but y'all didn't hear it, right? So, I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. We make it work. We will make it work. That's what we do at conventions. We make things work. So feel free to come up if you want to buy a print or take a business card. Do it now. Cool. And if you have a question, I will answer while I'm doing business stuff. Yeah.
Molly Lincoln Beard, Mike McFarlane, all those people. We were all kind of part of that 2003 to 2006 anime bubble where anime was first becoming really gigantic. We were all becoming kind of semi-known, and we all had a few really good titles under our belt, and we were happy with the way things were going. But then, Vic kept sort of whispering at conventions. He'd start whispering to us about this show he was recording as this lead role, Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm like, that's cool. But that's how I was hearing about it a lot. One day I was in Dallas recording, I think I was actually recording a lead role in another show, Galaxy Railways, which is a show about trains in space, like you do. But I was on a lunch break and Mike McFarlane was like, Patton, come in here. And I was like, what? He goes, have you eaten already? I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm good. He goes, come in here really quick. I'm like, okay. And he goes, hey, have you ever played a villain, a main featured villain? I was like, no, mainly I play the lead hero guys, dudes. angsty Twinkie dudes. And he's like, that's what I thought. And he goes, but I think I got a character for you that I want to try you out on. And he said, just go get in the booth really quick and let's just try this on for size. And I'm like, okay. And I went and he showed me, he goes, have you heard about Fullmetal Alchemist? I'm like, yeah, that's that show Vic won't shut up about. I've heard of it. And he goes, yeah, right. So this is kind of like one of the villains. He's pretty cool. And he's named after one of the 7 deadly sins. His name's Greed. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. He put him up on the screen. And he's like, why don't we just try out your voice? Like, just see how you think he should sound. I'll play you a couple of scenes. And so I started just kind of riffing on a voice for the character, and I ended up, because Greed doesn't have a whole lot in that first episode in the original show. His first episode is like 10 lines or something, and then a laugh. He's like, I'm back, bitches, basically is like what he says, essentially. And we recorded all that, and he goes, and he stopped, and he goes, well, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I feel good about it. You're the director. How do you feel? And he's like, no, man, that's good. Well, congratulations. You're Greed, and you just recorded your first episode. And I was like, oh, yay, sweet. I didn't realize the significance because the night that episode aired on Cartoon Network, my socials, which at the time were AOL Instant Messenger and MySpace, like that shows you how old that dub actually is. It came out in 2004.
I love it.
Everything started blowing up, like oh my God, were you in FMA tonight? Because I couldn't say anything, and I never had so many responses and people like messaging me and coming at me and like whatever about being in a show, and I was like, oh damn, I guess this is a big deal. Score 1 for Vic. So it was fun. And it changed a lot of the trajectory of our careers. But the only thing that sucked was voicing that last scene in the original.
Oh.
Even though like arguably his death in Brotherhood is a little more brutal, I did it more quick. I don't know. That scene in the first one where he's like kind of vomiting the rocks and spoiler, you've had 14 years though. But anyway, he dies. That scene, I remember I finished it at 1 a.m. And Colleen Kinkenbeard was directing me, and I did my first take of like making the sort of vomiting rock sound and dying and that my life and that whole like speech he does at the end. And I finished that for the first time, and I looked up and Colleen is laughing, and I'm like, what are you doing laughing at my pain? And she's like, I'm sorry, you sound like a drunk frat boy after I did that. And I was like, oh God. I was like, what do you want me to do? She's like, just make it a little more gritty and painful. Like, oh, more gritty and painful. Good, thanks. It's 1 a.m. by the way. But I did, and I finished it, and then I drove home from Dallas to Houston at 1 a.m., got home at 6 a.m., and went to sleep. So that wasn't terribly fun. But overall, yeah, I guess I could say it's had a huge impact on my voiceover life. In fact, I'll tell you a really, really funny, cute Greed story. When I went in to record AG in Sword Art Online, Ordinal Scale, the Sword Art Online movie, the woman from AnimeCTX was sitting in on this. So I had like my director, I had an engineer, and then this woman, this Japanese lady from AnimeCTX was like sitting and monitoring the whole session, like to make sure, like she was like sort of like the quality checker, right? And she was sitting there like very stern, watching, and I'm like, that usually I'm not intimidated at all. I've been doing this for 19 years, and it takes a lot to kind of get me shook in the booth. But I was a little Baba shook because like she was sitting there just like kind of mad dogging the whole session. We took our first break, and she was like, very good work. I will take you all to lunch now. And I'm like, okay, cool. And we get out of the studio at Bang Zoom, and we get out on the studio, and we were just walking to this place to eat, and it was the most adorable thing. She looks at me and she goes, I want to tell you something. And I'm like, okay. She goes, I did not want to fangirl during your session, but I love Greed with full metal alchemist. Now you're not so scary.
He's resurrected in that other guy's body whose name I forget. Ling. Okay, did you voice him like even then?
Let me explain that. I'm in Brotherhood up until the fiery pit death.
Okay.
That's me. Then it's Troy Baker. Then it's Todd Habercorn. So Greed has the 3 faces of Greed. But some people don't even think I'm in Brotherhood at all. Like, oh no. Like, I'm in Brotherhood a good chunk up until, and I do voice that horribly painful, screamy, fiery death.
Yeah, I haven't watched the dub. I've only seen the Brotherhood sub. The first show I've seen both subbed and dubbed.
Gotcha. So no, it's 3 of us. So after Fiery Death, Troy Baker, then Todd is Ling. So it's confusing. It's an interesting choice they made to do that. By interesting, I mean it pissed me off a little bit. But I also I got where they were going with it, sort of technically and artistically. But.
I'm a bit low on the ball, but what's Source Connect? Is that like
Source Connect is like a cheap version of ISDN. It's like a really affordable, like ISDN will run you like 5,000 or 7,000 or something. Source Connect is like $700, and it's kind of like hyped up on steroids Skype. I'm very non-technical. I'm artsy. I'm not technical. So I'm also blonde and a Pisces. So just forget about it. But yeah, it's a cheap version of ISDN in short. Bless you. Yes.
Okay, so I'm 20 and I've never been on a roller coaster. What should I pick as my first one?
I was gonna do.
Really good question.
I don't do upside down.
You live not too far from the best Six Flags park in the chain, which is Fiesta, Texas.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful. The only problem is how bloody hot it gets.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's in a rock quarry. It's the cleanest of all the Six Flags parks. It's well maintained. It's well run. The ride operations are smooth and fast. But that's not what you asked. You asked, like, you want a starter coaster? Okay. No, that's not a starter coaster. I would actually say Fiesta Texas has one of the more intense mine train rides, like family mine train rides. I think it's called Roadrunner Express.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I would say start with that.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite. I'm like,
it's like a mid-level family ride, but it's intense on a mild level, and it's fun. And then from that, I would say graduate up to. Don't go to Iron Rattler next, even though that's my favorite ride there. I would say go from that to, if you want to get bold, do Superman. Because that's considered the best B&M floorless looper in the country. But doing that 120-foot loop with Superman standing on top like he's gonna pee on you, that's pretty epic. Yeah. That's my recommendation. You have a question?
My question was, what was your favorite ride? But you already answered that.
My favorite ride is Steel Vengeance. It's Cedar Point. I just got to ride it at Colossal Con a couple of weeks ago. Oh my God! This ride has gotten so much hype. It's been being talked about for a year. It's on the top of everyone's list. It's probably going to go down in 2018 as the #1 coaster in the world.
Wow.
I rode it. I experienced coaster nirvana. It was this ride. You guys, if you're big coaster fans, you're probably a fan of airtime. This ride has 30 seconds of airtime. Your butt is off the seat for 30 seconds of the ride. You're just floating. It's smooth as glass. It inverts 4 times. The first drop is 200 feet, 90 degrees, straight down.
Oh my God.
Literally straight down. It's so good. Okay, I'm done.
Where is it?
Cedar Point.
Where's Cedar Point?
But my favorite ride at Fiesta Texas is Iron Rattler. My favorite ride at Six Flags Over Texas is New Texas Giant.
someone just posted Cedar Point.
What?
Cedar Point, it's on the monitor.
Cedar Point is Mecca. Oh my gosh, I'm going back there this fall. I can't wait. You guys, if you're a coaster nerd and you get a chance to go to Cedar Point, just do it. You won't regret it. My 3 favorite coasters in the world are at this park. It's Steel Vengeance, Maverick, and Millennium Force. Millennium Force, the first drop is 315 feet, and you go 93 miles an hour. Wait, hold on. I'm on the guest list for the horror drag show at Elysium tonight. Yay! Okay.
Oh my God.
My friend loves Elysium.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
What's happening?
It went down the drop and got intense.
You guys, that ride.
I would so ride that.
It's so hard to explain. And I rode. Oh my God! By the way, I rode it at night, and you get. I had my hands up the whole time. I came back into the station, my arms were covered in bug guts. Because the park is right on a lake, and that ride goes 74 miles an hour, and I was just like, yeah, and like, bugs everywhere, bugs on my face, like, it was like an initiation. It was so great.
You didn't eat any, did you?
Did you get a bug in your mouth? No.
No, because this is how I wrote it. I was like, I felt them hitting my face. I'm like, because I'm a vegan, you know, so guess what? The same. Anyway, all right. By the way, sometimes at some cons I do entire panels on roller coasters, and it like packs. It like people come and talk about roller coasters for an hour.
Hi everybody. So we got here right on time. Actually, they changed the schedule, so we were a little bit late, which really sucked. But we were able to make it to Morgan Berry's panel, and now we're kind of hanging out. Ta-da! And we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do next. We've been walking around the artist alley, so yeah, we're kind of partying it up with Lucy, Urza, and Soldier and friend. And oh yes, of course. The picture. Bye guys. All right, hey everybody. We just had lunch, a long talk at Jason's Deli, and we're gonna go head back to the con. And yeah, we've got Cameron, we got AJ, and Amanda. Oh shoot. And me. Whee! That was fun. Okay. Alright, we are walking around a little bit. We're gonna do a lap.
Waiting for panels.
Looking at the amazing people. Ooh, excuse me, pardon me, sorry.
That was close.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Aye, sir.
Aye, sir.
I can't believe I got that on camera. Hi.
Look at the amazing artwork, bro. Look at that.
Oh my god.
I got like 5 of those at home.
Same, I do too.
So far the con has been awesome. We've had tons of fun, made a new friend. If I can talk. Let's go inside the artist alley a little bit too. Like inside. And do a circle in there, and then we'll go out to the coffee.
Okay.
So, it has been amazing, and look, this is wonderful. Ooh,
careful. Don't want to snatch your weave. Let's not do that.
The wonderful fountain back there.
Let's not snatch your weave.
Hey guys.
Side note, we tried reprinting the ladybug stuff at a mini print size.
Yeah.
But there was a problem with the printing, so I do have them, but they're at discount. You can see the.
Oh yeah.
Ah, so cute. Oh my god, so cute. Well, how are they misprinted?
You can kind of see that. You can see that like there's like a streak.
It looks like rain.
Looks like rain.
That looks awesome. I think that's awesome.
I think it is too. Oh my god.
So they're $5?
What?
I'm reading it.
Yeah. Oh, I see the lines there. I see what's going on.
I'm tempted.
I'm tempted too.
I'll probably definitely get one Sunday. How about that?
Yeah, Sunday, me too.
Yeah, we will be back.
We will be back
thank you,
Sunday.
by the way, for the.
Yeah, I know. Oh my
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I had to have her do the symbol right here, so it's awesome. And y'all are awesome. What is y'all's names?
I'm Allie. Palestinian.
Awesome.
I'm Hannah. I'm Ella Fluff.
All right. Look at this awesome artwork, guys. Look at that. Yeah. Let's support them. Yes.
Yay.
Oh, and here's their info. That's capturing it.
Yes. Yes.
Do it again.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, we are on our. Oh my god, I don't know if you guys can see Yeah, but it's like a giant wolf guy. We're heading to the. What are we going to? Cards Against Humanity? Alright. See that?
Oh.
Look how many people are on
It's a trap.
Oh God!
It's a trap.
There we go.
Considering the shirt he wears.
My shirt is not a card, so
Can't use the shirt.
can't use the shirt.
Put your answers on the chair. I'm looking for good questions. I'm not kidding. I'm so good.
We already did.
Oh, we did. It's
It's a trap. That's right. That's why we're saying this one.
That's what
Yeah.
I think.
Or it's either these two, because God could be a trap. God is a trap.
Whoa, God, it's a trap.
God is a trap. What do you think? How does that sound? Just God.
I have my votes on this one.
Anybody?
I don't know.
God. We have 2 points. God. Oh, God one.
6,
6.
7.
All right, teammate, whoever teammate is.
Okay, we're good. I'm sorry. We're good. We just got that one.
Yeah, don't worry.
Really good one for
Don't
this.
worry about it.
Like a shirt.
Everybody does.
That thing is, I recognize it. Same. No, it's not same.
No.
That's a fucking great one.
I read one of the cards already. I think that may be the winner. I'm not sure yet.
Did they read ours?
Save for last.
A balanced breakfast. It's a trap. Not really.
You tried.
I've got
Come on, bud.
Come on.
You can do it.
How far I can get my own penis up my butt? It's a trap.
Oh, God.
I don't know. You want to check for me?
I'm good. Thank you, though. I appreciate the offer. I'm flattered.
Having sex for the first time. It's a trap. In most cases, they're not wrong.
What do you mean anal doesn't count?
Jesus.
Oh, Lord.
God, I wish this entire con was 18 plus.
Right.
Actually, there is a con that's supposed to be here at some point. For this 18 plus, but-
I want everybody to get a chance to judge it.
The miracle of childbirth. It's a trap.
Yes, it is.
Oh God.
I know it's Sophie just said that.
A micro penis. It's a trap. Now you see why I said that's almost a winner. Heteronormativity. It's a trap.
Yeah, very true.
The entire Mormon Tabernacle Choir. It's a trap.
How do you think they hit those high notes?
My name is Elder Christ, and I would like to welcome you to the Mormon Church of Christ. If you've seen Book of Mormon, you'd understand.
Yes.
God. It's a trap.
God was feeling so along.
See, it was still a good one.
Yeah.
He's dying now.
Well, we have broken the hose.
Keep reading.
We're out of reeds.
Yeah.
I'm trying. They're all
great fucking
They're all great.
Golden card.
He died too. God killed him.
They're not golden, they're white.
God killed him.
Oh God, it's a toss-up between the entire Mormon Tabernacle Choir and God. I hate to say it, but it is.
Choir.
The Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Second place.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's okay because ours was in second place. That's good enough for us.
And I like how it's red time, and I want everyone to get at least one turn per team.
Hello.
Hi. So we just got out of the 18+ panel for the guests.
That was so good. So good.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Now we are going to the dance. I am expecting it to be better than Anime Fest in 2015 because that was just sad. So. My gosh, that was some day.
It was. So no joke, we're like most vloggers, we forgot to film as soon as we got home.
We were just ready to like take the wigs off, and
I was sweating like up here so bad. I was like, nope, I want it off.
My eyelids were sweating. They usually always do. They're the first to go.
No,
so
Lord.
It's true. But now we're home, and then so second day was also another success. Amazingly
Everyone
fun.
recognized us.
Yeah.
Just by the eyes and the mouth.
The facialness.
Facialness.
Yeah.
We were shocked. A lot of pictures today.
A lot of pictures. Same as yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, except not really little kids took pictures.
Yeah,
of
no.
us,
I told you it was going to be teens and adults.
Yeah.
Like, what's it called? A random guy came up to me, didn't know the Japanese name, the Japanese voiceover for Lucy. I didn't know it was her. And I was like, okay.
But he wanted to take a picture with her anyway.
Yeah.
No matter what.
No matter what.
And he hasn't seen the anime, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
But, overall, the day was great, and the dance was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I say it was better than Anime Fest in 2015. Today was great.
Yeah.
Yes, success. Now we're tired. We're home. We just ate a hot dog.
Yeah, we were hungry. I was
and
like,
it's
nope.
like 1:30 in the morning. When you're hungry, you're hungry.
You're hungry.
We barely kind of ate.
Yeah, we
today,
barely kind of ate today. Like, what was the last time we ate? Like,
Jason's Deli.
Like at 2? And then we had PB and
while.
We had PB and J's before Cards Against Humanity.
Yes.
And that was like at 8:30.
No, it started at 9, sweetie.
No, I think we ate at 8:30. Like the sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
That makes sense. We ate it at 8:30,
Yeah.
and then that was the last thing we really ate.
Yeah.
So, and then before that was like about 1-ish for Jason's Deli.
Yeah.
To close it off, today was successful, and
Yep.
I can't wait for tomorrow. We're gonna be our regular selves tomorrow,
Just with
like
wolf
this,
tails.
but with wolf tails
And makeup.
and anime shirts or something. I still don't know what I'm wearing, but we'll see when it's the next part of the video. All right.
Cut to
Bye.
now.
Hey everybody.
Hello.
We are on the last day of the AnimeCTX, and we are normal today.
Yep. Nope.
No cosplay.
No cosplay.
My God, I was exhausted this morning.
Yeah.
Probably you too.
Definitely.
And so it's about 10:30 right now, and we're gonna go meet Cameron, AJ at the con. I feel bad for Cameron. He has to wear all these layers.
Oh yeah, my God.
So next video will be us meeting up with them. So hey everybody, we're about to go into the oh crap, I forgot what.
Voice actor.
Oh, behind the scenes voice actor. Thank you, Cameron.
I don't know.
And we're just hanging out until then, but we're about to go in line. So yep, catch you later.
What's script writing usually for you? Like, how do you plan stuff out? Like, I write scripts normally, like a storyline, stuff like that. How does that usually go for you for anime?
Are you asking specifically for ADR script writing for anime? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So that, that process is pretty set in stone. I mean, not in stone, but it's like the story's already established, the flaps are already there, I have a translation, and so usually what I do is I watch the sub on Crunchyroll, and then I get a document. So somebody else prepares a time code script document for me, and they go through and they put in all of the time codes for all of the lines, all of the reactions, and then they do a starter line. So they put the first 2 words of the translated line in there as a placeholder, so I know what is going on. And then I just go through it 10, 15 seconds at a time, and I watch the line in the J, and then I look at the translation, and I try to figure out how to say what they're saying in the flaps allotted. So, which is kind of difficult, because the Japanese syntax is completely different than English, and so, some things in Japanese it takes 15 syllables to say, whereas in English it takes 3, and then you have to pad the line, or you have to totally just think outside of the box, and sometimes make up what you interpret their intention to be, why they're saying the line in order to add to it, and then sometimes it's the exact opposite, where there's something that in English it takes 3 sentences to say, and then in Japanese it's 5 syllables. So that requires a lot of creativity. Sometimes you have to kind of throw out the translation completely and just be okay, what would make sense here, even if it's not exactly what they're saying, would it make sense in the context of the scene and the story? And then, I try to pay really close attention to character voice, because in anime, I think most characters have a really distinct voice, and so I try to suss out what that is from the way it's translated. Sometimes the translator will make notes this character uses a word that's not commonly used in modern times, it's more of an archaic term, and so that gives me a clue that the character speaks with really lofty speech and things like that. But if it's, for example, I'm writing Steins Gate 0, and Steins Gate was a very specific dub. I mean, those characters had really specific voices, and so I had to watch the entire first season, the movie, the OVAs, and all of the playthroughs of the visual novel, just because I didn't want to screw it up. And I had to pay really close attention, particularly to Okabe, and just the way that Tatum sort of crafted that character's voice, because it's so unique. And so I had to really figure out when he spoke in that sort of lofty vernacular, when he used really archaic words and 10-point SAT words and things like that, and when he dropped that, Tatum words, and when he would drop that facade and just be real, because we all, those of us who know Steins Gate, know that Hoin Kiyoma is a facade, it's fake, it's not real, that's not who he really is, it's something that he did in order to make Mayuri happy. And so, fortunately for me, Steins Gate 0 is a lot about, Okabe's in sort of what in psychology they call a fugue state. And he's not himself. So it was actually easier because everything was really bare bones. There was no flowery embellishment. It was just, at least in the beginning. And then once you started communicating with the AI Makise, I would pepper in a few of those little Tatumisms and sort of try to just give it touches here and there to kind of help us remember what he used to be. And so it's a very arduous process sometimes because it's difficult. It's like doing puzzles, but I happen to really love puzzles, so it's fun.
I have to say that from my point of view, I have a lot of respect for the people that do it regularly, because I've written, I think, 4 dub scripts, and it was just absolute misery and torture for me. I hated it so much. So I don't see how people do it, but I'm glad they do.
Yeah, it was really hard for me at first. I hated it for the first year. I was like, ugh. I would because back then we had lead writers, and Monica trained me, and Monica's an amazing trainer.
She is.
And she's just she has such a keen eye for detail, and so she really helped me.
She and Clinton Bickham are like aliens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's weird, yeah.
But I wouldn't, they just made it clear how perfect it kind of has to be, They want it to be like the actor could just go into the booth, look at the script only, not even watch the animation, and it would fit.
And you can tell when you don't have a script like that right off the bat.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, so I take a lot of pride in it. I try to do my best. But yeah, it's hard.
Bless you. Yes.
Have y'all ever had to like move a certain way to get a certain sound or reaction, even if
You know
it was like
what?
really weird?
For the first like 5 years that I was dubbing anime, I was one of those actors who I was still from here up and I would move all the rest of my body, and I rely on it sometimes if I'm not getting something right. But one time, Uncle Carl, Crazy Uncle Carl, as we used to call him, Carl Masek, who was sort of like a legendary director in the field, was directing me on something, and he was like, you know, people like to move around a lot in the booth sometimes to make a character come to life. You don't have to do that. And I was like, shit, okay, I guess he's talking about me. All right, okay. And I was like, maybe, and I got what he meant, so I learned how to sort of economize, because I come, like most of us, I came from a stage background, and it was just, I don't know, I think I was imagining I was on stage. Now, I only do it when a director's like, I'm not feeling the effort, or I'm not feeling the fear or urgency, then sometimes, or if it's a fight, or a specific motion, then I will kind of do it. But apart from that, I stay pretty still now. Yeah.
Same. I don't have the Carl story, but my answer is pretty much exactly the same.
Yep.
Do you encourage method acting or enforce method acting if you're a voice director?
No. No. Acting is a skill, and I believe that you should be able to drop into your character right before you go on and do it. And like, method acting actually really annoys me because I'm like, it's called acting. It's not called being.
All this stuff about, I've done all this stuff about people like, I need 45 minutes off stage, listening to Ry Cooter and smoking a blunt to get into my character. I'm like, girl, you need to be able to fall into that script right away. It's, you know what, it's called doing a play because you're playing.
Yep.
And when you're a kid and you're play acting like you're Peter Pan or one of the Lost Boys, you don't think about it and get into character, and you don't chain yourself to a wall in a basement. You just do it. And that's how I am that's how I feel the exact same way about acting. So I don't encourage, I say actually whatever works for you, good on you, but I think method acting is, for lack of a better term, it's very masturbatory. And,
It is.
And, yeah.
And it's also, I think it's unhealthy.
I think it's very unhealthy.
I mean, all these stories about Jared Leto and
Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's just like, guys, come on. You're just gonna.
It's that old Laurence Olivier story too. Like, there's this great story about, he was working on Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman had started running miles every morning before getting to the set, and he came to the set one day just knackered and excited. He couldn't even get a take out of him. And he was like, I'm sorry, I've been running, training Marathon Man. And Laurence Olivier said, my dear boy, why don't you simply try acting? And I'm like, yes, exactly. It's that.
Yeah.
Next question. Yeah.
Because I might be wrong, but I gather that there's a much wider range of female characters in anime.
Yes.
And I mean, I think I've avoided being typecast for the most part because of that. I think that women's voices are more versatile just in general, just because we can modulate a bit more, and especially within the world of anime, because that range of characters is pretty wide, but at the same time it's all within that female range. So, but we're playing all the kids, we're playing, some preteen boys, things like that, and then, I've played everything from like a 3-year-old girl to, a terrorist, and so, yeah, I just think it's different for women. I think there are fewer male characters in anime fall within a much more narrow range of tropes.
Very narrow archetypes.
Yeah, and women it's different. So, but I know there are some actors who they get cast as the same kind of roles all the time. There's only one thing that people see them as, so it does happen.
There are some women who only get used as little boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't stop wherever anyone was going.
Yes.
How soon until the Steins Gate Zero dub?
Oh, until the it's out. It's a simuldub. Yeah. So we're on episode. I mean, I just started. I'm about halfway through episode 12 writing it right now. So I think episode 10 is the last one has aired. So yeah, get on it. Funimation now. Yes.
Has there been a character that you voiced that you said, "Oh, that's just me," but an animated character?
Many. I've voiced many characters like that. Yeah. I mean, they're
Never exactly.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, they're not a real human being or character. I would say, I don't know, Saki Watanabe from the New World is pretty close to me. Aoi is kind of close to me in Kakurio, although they use a little bit of a younger range. Like personality-wise, she's very similar. Kind of sassy, but yeah, that happens a lot.
The only difference for me is like the age gap. I mean,
Right.
all my characters are like 20 to 30 years younger than I really am.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I played a lot that are a lot like me. Like I've definitely played myself at 16 and 17
Right.
many, many times in anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess most of my characters are between 14 and 19.
Yeah.
Which at heart, I guess I am still 14.
I'm still 17.
Yeah.
If we did that in English, you guys would laugh at us. Like,
I mean, and sometimes, like, if you're making a joke out of it, like, you're
Right.
intentionally trying to do that, that's one thing, but, like, or, like, yeah, just a lot of, huh? And no.
well, that's how, if any of you have watched Ghost Stories, there's a moment where Hajime literally goes, nah, That's me literally imitating the Seiyu. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just exactly copying the Seiyu. Yeah. Yes.
What was the hardest thing to overcome when you started getting into voiceover?
The fatigue. It was really nerve-wracking for me at first. So I would get really nervous going in, and then that would just exhaust me. So, yeah.
I think that brings up a really interesting point. Sometimes we hear, especially really young people say, they want to get into voicing anime because they're shy. And because theater makes them nervous. And I'm like, oh, well, then let's talk about some things. I know for me personally, I've performed in front of anywhere from 10 people to 15,000 people. And sometimes being in the booth under certain circumstances, especially in like my first 5 years, was more nerve-wracking because you've got Japanese actors, music, and effects playing in the headphones, and you've got lip flaps that you're trying to match, and you've got a director and an engineer like watching you like this. And to me, that's well, like when I went to go work on Sword Art Online ordinal scale, it was my director, an engineer, and then there was like the woman who was one of the heads of Aniplex was just sitting in there like this, watching my performance like a hawk, and I was like, oh, this isn't intimidating at all. You know, and it is. I think that's the first thing I had to get over too. Was like, oh, my big thing was I thought we had to 100% perfectly match the lip flaps. And finally, like Matt Greenfield was like, Chris, we have this thing called Pro Tools, and you don't have to be a robot. You can like, if you go over or under a little bit, we'll slide you around. And I'm like, oh, what? Really?
You tell me now.
I used to do that too, and if I would start late, I would speed up to catch the end. And then like, oh, now it's short. It's also really nerve-wracking when the director will turn off, I forget what it's called, but the mechanism where you can hear what they're saying out there, that's really nerve-wracking. So like, they're talking about me, they're talking about how terrible I am.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
talking about how I just can't get this rewrite. Oh my gosh. So for me, a lot of it was like totally releasing my ego and being like, you know what? This is not about me. Like, I cannot get in my head, and I cannot attach my ego to this because it's so humbling every single time. Because, you know, you're never, I mean, sometimes you get it right on the first try, but it's like, even then, you know, you still got people out there judging, so it's like you have to just kind of let go and be like, well, I'm going to do the best that I can.
That said, maybe there are. I mean, I've seen people I've seen kids at some of these sometimes the really big cons, Bang Zoom, where someone will show up and have like a dubbing contest, and these kids who are like incredibly shy and like wallflowery types, they get up there and they just kill the game like right off, and I'm like, who are you? Get out of the industry. We don't need you. No, but so it's a very subjective thing, I guess. But I found all the input. I'm very I'm sensory sensitive, and I get like if you take me out to like a nightclub or whatever, and my mood is off, if I shut down. I go very introvert, and I tend to be I get sensory overload. So anime can be a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what still 19 years in, what still throws me is when they put you in the booth with 3 other people like, okay, talk about wombats for 3 minutes. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, okay, like it's still, and I consider myself like a good improviser and everything. Walla actually really intimidates me still.
Yeah, I hear that. Depending on what it is, but yeah. Yeah, if you have to just generate
content.
just like on the fly like that.
Yeah.
And that's what voice acting is, it's acting. And so, yes. And so before getting into voiceover, I had that experience already. Mainly with on stage and a little bit of on camera and a few music videos here and there. But that's how I got started. And then I won a voice acting contest. And the prize for winning that voice acting contest was an audition at Funimation. And so I won, and then I got that audition at Funimation, and they kept calling me back ever since. So that's how I got into Funimation. And then from there, other stuff opened up, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And I really never counted the years I was doing that. I really started sometime in high school doing musicals and theater, because all before that, like since like grade school, I've been in choir and everything that's like dancing and singing in front of the stage, but like for some reason I hadn't thought about doing those things. And I like kind of was a little bit afraid about it, and I saw people, I think it was like Beauty and the Beast. They were doing Beauty and the Beast musical, and I was like, that's fun. And I auditioned for it, and there was only like a limited number of people that could be in it, so I couldn't even be a spoon. I cried my God, like I couldn't even be a spoon. Aww. Aww. That was just that was me my fake crying. But yeah, I was fascinated by it at that point, and I started getting into that and theater all at once. And then after that, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was just kind of hanging out with that. And I ended up here in Texas in Fort Worth, and I learned there was a dubbing company nearby, and I was like, I don't know if voice acting is something that I would want to do. Like it's very different from being in front of a bunch of people, from like normal acting. And so I was like, I don't know, but it seems like it would be fun. So like, I just wanted to try it out. So I'm like, what's on? Like, take a risk. Like the worst thing to say is no, So I signed up for their open auditions way back when. They're still doing that. I don't know if they still are or not, but rarely
I think
they
we had
are.
them last year, but they don't do it really often anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, and I auditioned for something, I think it was like Railgun or something for Jerry. I didn't continue like the main girls that were for the second season, but I got this minor girl that I eventually came in for, and then they keep on calling me in for other stuff, and slowly I built my way up. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it was a good thing to try. And yeah, it ended up being really fun. So yeah, I love trying stuff. That's like, why not? So that's my intro to voice acting.
Cool. I guess we can open it up to a Q&A. We can talk about getting demos made. I don't know, just whatever questions you guys may have on your mind.
What has been like your hardest role so far of doing? Like, what was challenging?
Oh, I told this story yesterday, I think it was. I don't know if you guys were there for that. It's the one where I recorded for that Otome game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who didn't hear, I recorded for an Otome game. It's a dating simulator game. And I played the MC. I played the lead female who gets to date all these men. And it's called A Cash, Path of the Five. And of course there's 5 boys. And, those games are fun. I've played a few, And so to be in one, it was pretty cool. Right? Oh my gosh, there's apps that you can download on your phone and just date all the boys. All the fictional boys. All the anime boys.
Why do you think it looks so cute?
Right? They look so attractive. But yeah, those games are fun. But I got to be in one, but recording for it, ooh, okay. Yeah, no offense to the client. I love her. She's great. She's so sweet. And I love her project. I love it. But wow. She was the client. She's not a director. And she was the one trying to direct me. Oh my gosh, there's so much I could say about this. Okay, I guess the best way to sum it up is I recorded over 9,000 lines in 4 days. And yeah, I drove down to Houston to record this. And it was tough, you guys, because I've never had a session that hard before. I'm excited for the game. There's still no release date yet. But anyways, the arc is gorgeous, and originally the character that I voiced for wasn't supposed to have a voice. So the lines weren't written to be spoken easily. But the character became so popular online, and she was like, well, I guess we need a female voice actor for this character. So, yay! But the lines were kind of difficult to get through, and all of the lines were out of order. I don't know what that was about. One line could be a marriage proposal. She says, yes, I will marry you, something like that. And then the line right after could be like, they have to whisper because they're sneaking through a dungeon or something. And then the next line could be from another completely different scene. So it was really hard to go boom, 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 boom. And there wasn't a lot of notes for each line. So I had to just breeze right on through it, and then she'd be like, all right, so we're gonna go back. This scene, this is going on. I'm like, why didn't she tell me that before we had to go back and do that? I don't know, it became a little difficult to keep in mind 9,000 lines, over 9,000 lines. So it's like, that happened a lot. And also, if there was a big chunk of line, they were using Pro Tools, so you'd think this wouldn't be an issue, but for some reason, it was. If I stumbled on a line, instead of starting from the beginning of that sentence, they made me start from the beginning of the entire line, the entire paragraph, the entire monologue.
It's like back when we had to do
Yeah. But it was crazy because, man, the lines weren't written to be easily spoken, and so of course there's going to be stumbling, and then I had to start all the way back, and I would stumble in the same place, and I'm like, man, I just wish I could just start from the beginning of the sentence, not the whole thing. It would be so much quicker. Oh my gosh, and then, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, there's 5 boys, right? So there's 5 different routes you can take. And so some of the lines were similar, right? They didn't just copy and paste those same exact lines 5 times. No, I had to read the entire, there was many lines that I had to repeat 5 times throughout the entire process. They were really big lines, and it's like, why don't you just copy and paste those? I gotta leave town soon. We're running out of time, you guys. It kind of dragged on a bit. But John Swayze was great, though. He's a great director, and he got me through it. Because the client, I love her, but she just couldn't direct. She couldn't direct it. And so John had to step in a lot and be like, let's try it this way. And I'm like, thank you. So it was, wow. I had to drink a lot of water, because that was a lot of talking, barely any breaks at all. Yeah, and also there was cats running around. It was a residential lot.
Yeah.
It was a home that we would do the recordings in. The cats were running around, and sometimes they ruined a few takes, meowing or running across the room, making noises, and so it could have been a great read. And then they're like, oh, we gotta redo it. The cats. I'm like, why don't you put your cats in your bedroom? Put them in a room so that they don't disrupt the recording session. Why?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't either. I still don't get it, but I'm excited for the game. I am. It was the hardest session I ever had, the hardest 4 day session. But yeah, I cashed Path of the 5.
God. Check it out. It's gonna be awesome. Y'all know Pro TV, right? You know, the guy that makes the funny videos on YouTube. He's in it. And man, he sounds sexy as heck. So if you're into that,
Perfect.
yeah, check it out. Anyways.
For me, I don't think I think Ben has ever ran into something like that before. I've just had things where I might not get a character. Like I'll think I get it, but then I don't because like I don't know. Like one of them was from was it the oh gosh, I can never remember. Is it Moros Mononoke? I think I forget how to say it, but there's this like little salamander girl that I am, and Tyler, who's the director of the show, he told me that he wanted me to be like Little Rex, like little weird. And then I would do that, and I'm like, okay, I nailed her. And he's like, that's too raspy. Can you not chip it down a bit? I'm like, okay, so like kind of like this, and a little bit more gritty. Okay, like this. And I'm like, what do you want from me? It was like every single session for that show, and then at some point, I freaking knew it. Kyle substituted for one of the episodes, and I was doing like several reads, and I just knew that Tyler was gonna listen to these, and I was gonna have to come back in and redo them all because like the rasp wasn't right. And I did.
Oh.
So I got things like that, and then another time it was for Karakai no Jozu Takuki-san. On that show, they were flipping between the two directors, Jeremy and Anthony Boyd. So when I first went in, I kind of got an idea of who she was. She was supposed to be kind of like sarcastic all the time. Like she wasn't supposed to be like that big of energy or anything. And I was still kind of figuring out who she was in the first few episodes. And then the next time I came in for Anthony, and we did a second episode, and I think I did her with more energy than normal, and she was like a little bit more cutesy. And then Jeremy, I came in the next time, was like, I heard what you did with the episode 2. What was that? What was that? No, you do not go up there, okay? You always are down here, okay? And so like I was like battling with that for several episodes and like trying not to be too energetic, but like at the same time Anthony was like, but it's perfect. it's like this is my show now. It was funny. I was like, okay, I'm trying to do a thing, but at some point I was able to consistently keep her at the same level, but it was funny. Like trying to figure out a character with a director can sometimes be a little bit rough. Especially if there's two involved. Yeah, that's the hardest experiences that I usually get.
When I was recording for here's another. Sorry, I was recording for The Boy and the Beast, and the Japanese client gave me one note, and then Mike was like, me and Mike were like, that doesn't make any sense. So like, cause there's a line where Ichiro Hiko, he's supposed to be excited because his father has come back and he's super excited, and they said, oh no, we don't want him to, because even in the Japanese he sounded excited, but then the client was like, no, bring it down. We were just like, well, we need to show emotion, and so I eventually went with, you know what, I'm just gonna make it airy. I'm just gonna, maybe then it'll work. And he said, they accepted it. They're like, oh, that's it. I'm like, well, okay then. I managed to make him to sound excited without being too much, I guess. I don't know. It was very conflicting direction. And so me and Mike were like, what the heck? But we made it work.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, doing, like, airy voices is really hard whenever you have to do, like, actual, like screaming or kind of other stuff like that. Because you're like, how do I...
I mean, but whenever that happens, in all honesty, I channel my inner Natalie Hoover.
Yep.
Because she has such a sweet, airy voice, and so I love it.
Hey guys, so we are going to lunch. It's about 1:30, and I had talked to one of the guys from Team Lift and told them I was going to AkashiCon, and they are too, and I have an interview with them, so that'll be awesome because I'm working on a couple projects right now, so y'all want to hear that. And yeah, this way. So stay tuned.
I'm rushing out, I'm looking down, I'm working on my roar. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. No one's saying do this, no one's saying be there, no one's saying stop that, no one's saying see here. Don't run around all day. Free to do it all my way. To be Hakuna Matata.
No, kids. Oh, sorry. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Everybody, AnimeCTX was a success. Thank you for all the volunteers that were there. It was a blast. What did y'all think of the con?
Absolutely awesome. It was fun.
Really good?
Really good.
Awesome. Well, that's it for AnimeCTX 2018. Catch you later.